going on, everybody? Who's ready to have some fun? That's what I thought, because you're in luck today. We're talking about motorcycles that are so miserable, so uninspiring, so offensively mid as fuck that even if you rolled up a fat stack of cash and said, Yammy, take this thing out for a spin, I'd quietly walk away and ride a Grom or something else. These bikes aren't super weird or super ugly. They're just machines that after you ride them, they make you feel like you just wasted gas and brain cells. They're the kind of bikes that would make Valentino Rossi regret ever leaving the go-kart championship for Grand Prix racing. If you own one of these bikes, I hope your NBT riding pants are fire resistant, because this one might just hurt. Let's get into 5 motorcycles that I wouldn't ride even if you paid me. The Suzuki Boulevard S40 is a motorcycle that feels like the end result of a bizarre sci-fi novel where a caveman discovered metallurgy and then made a rudimentary and primitive motorcycle of which Suzuki found those schematics thousands of years later and acted as if they struck gold. This bike dates back to the Reagan administration, so it may as well be from the caveman times. It was first sold in 1986 as the Savage 650. The only thing that's savage about this bike is the disappointment that comes from swinging a leg over it. Suzuki gave it a new name in 2005 to trick people into thinking it was new, but nobody was fooled. This bike uses the same prehistoric thumper that's been dragging its knuckles across dealership floors for nearly 4 decades. Powering the Boulevard is a 652cc air-cooled single that makes an eye-watering, eye-popping, unbelievable 31 horsepower. It has a carburetor, a single-disc brake, and an alarming chrome-to-displacement ratio that would make any Harley brother take a second glance. It weighs nearly 380 pounds, which means you are basically lugging around an overweight and disproportionate DR650 with no suspension travel. It is so underpowered that a Honda Shadow 750 looks like a goddamn drag bike in comparison. The Boulevard S40's biggest crime isn't that it's old. Old bikes can be really charming. The problem is it's just devoid of any discernible characteristics. It's not so bad it's good, it's just so bad that it's bad. It's got no real character, no personality, just a lazy single cylinder that will shake your teeth loose and sounds like a decrepit lawnmower that needs to make an appointment with Dr. Kevorkian. If you want a small, modern cruiser that is fun and not a pile of cow manure, take the Rebel 500. It's modern, fuel-injected, makes more power, and looks pretty cool. The S40 was discontinued around 2020, and every day I thank Lord Rossi for putting it out of its misery. Amen. All right, next up we have the Boom BD250, the single most cursed motorcycle I've ever had the misfortune of riding. If you've been hanging around the Yamanoob channel for a while, you probably remember when we had this on the channel a while back. It's the direct-to-consumer bike-in-a-box Chinese garbage that you can buy on Amazon or Walmart.com or whatever for a few $1,000s. Yeah, a motorcycle shipped to your house that costs the same as a new iPhone? Sounds pretty great to me. The funny thing is, Boom or Venom Motorsports tried to pay me to ride this bike, and then when I realized they only wanted positive things said in the review, I threw that contract in the trash and bought the bike with my own money. The meme machine had already been building momentum, and by this point, it couldn't be stopped. This stupid little bike is powered by a Chinese 230cc single-cylinder Honda clone engine that finds its way in so many myriad of wonderful motorcycles, such as the Janus 250 as well. In itself is basically an agricultural engine for low-maintenance markets, i.e. third world country. It's like a copy of a copy of a copy. It's found its way in many other Chinese chip bikes, as I mentioned, like the Hawk 250. It makes maybe 16 horsepower on a good day, and the rest of the parts are a Frankenstein mashup of recycled Ninja 250 and 300 pieces and universal overstock parts from Temu or AliExpress. The frame welds look like someone sneezed molten metal onto it, and the suspension feels like it was borrowed from a 1995 Huffy mountain bike. With all this in mind, Boom wanted to pay me to positively review one, so instead I bought one myself for the public roasting and ultimate destruction. In the end, the BD250 is a fine chapter in Yami Noob history, but I am glad that chapter is over, and I'm glad I never have to ride that bike ever again. Not even if you pay me. If you're a broke boy that needs a budget sport bike, buy a used Ninja 300. That's the answer. Nothing else will do. Do not buy the Boom BD250. Some slow bikes are fun. Others aren't. The Suzuki GSX-250R finds itself in the latter camp. It's a slow bike that manages to somehow make its lack of speed feel like a personal insult to the operator. This was Suzuki's big return to entry-level sport bikes in 2016. Let's take a trip back through memory lane here. It's a time when Yamaha had the R3 recently launched, KTM had the RC390, and Kawasaki had the small displacement Ninja dialed in up to 300cc. So what did Suzuki bring to the competition? A 25 horsepower parallel twin from the early 2000s, borrowing from the GW250. Yeah, and weighing a ton. Its air-cooled engine makes less torque than a commercial kitchen blender and has made it to a transmission that feels like it was pulled from one of those mechanical horses that used to be outside the grocery store in the 90s. The GSX-250 is a bike that teaches you patience. You can have the throttle fully open and still have time to check your email before you hit 60 miles per hour or the next corner. The only thing that makes this a Gixxer is the badge, but even Suzuki couldn't bring themselves to put the R before the 250. We had one of these on the channel for a while, a long time ago, and we had plenty of fun with it. Mostly cutting it up with an angle grinder and turning it into a cursed scrambler, but it was fun nonetheless. But at the end of the day, riding it felt like a punishment, and I would never want to ride one again. If you want a beginner sport bike, there's a million better options. Ninja 300, 400, 500, RC390, R3, 450SS, a moped, an electric skateboard, a one-wheel. Literally anything is better than a GSX-250R, except for a Boom BD250. I have to admit, the GSX-250R is better than a Boom BD250, but that's not a high bar to clear, is it? Okay, let me take a break really quick and tell you about a secret weapon I use on my bike, and that is Rockform. I've been using products from them for many years now, and you'll always find one of their mounts on my bikes. Right when I think a Rockform handlebar mount can't get any better, they went and dropped their new wireless charging head. This little guy fits onto any existing Rockform handlebar mount, and when plumbed into USB power, it'll wirelessly charge your phone anytime it's mounted onto your handlebar. It's pretty sweet. It means no more arriving at your destination with 5% battery or fumbling around with extra cords every time you get on or off your bike. I've been using it, and honestly, it's a game changer. Whether you're commuting or heading out on a weekend canyon run, your phone stays powered, protected, and perfectly positioned. Rockform has always been a longtime supporter of Yami Noob, and we are very grateful for that. So if you like what we do and need to upgrade your mount or jump on the bandwagon for the first time, hit the link in the description and use the code YN25 for 25% off your order from Rockform. Thanks again to Rockform for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back into it. The Ninja 650. The sport bike for tax accountants and 40-year-old men who live with their parents and Photoshop women wearing bikinis into photos of them next to their bike in matching Cowie green riding gear. It's not a good motorcycle. I don't care how many people's feelings that hurts. Please listen to me. Unless you're a 400-pound new rider who is allergic to adventure bikes and literally can't fit on any other bike in the sport bike world, there's no reason to get a Ninja 650. Imagine moving on from a Ninja 300 and getting a Ninja 650 and being like, yes, I've made it. This bike's incredible. That's insane. The Ninja 650 is so aggressively mediocre in every way. It has a 649cc parallel twin that makes 67 horsepower. The 180-degree crank guarantees it'll sound like a washing machine running the extra soak cycle. Put an aftermarket exhaust on it, it'll just sound like a washing machine loaded up with 24 dirty diapers. It's the same engine you find in the Versys 650 and Z650. And if I'm being totally honest, I'd rather ride a Versys 650 than a Ninja 650. At least the Versys is so painfully boring that it borders on a masterpiece of utilitarian ethos. It actually has a purpose, and it does that job pretty well. Whereas the Ninja 650 is in the midst of a 20-year-long identity crisis. crisis. It's like the slightly overweight 50-year-old divorced guy in the True Religion jeans who dyes his eyebrows and goatees to black to hide his grays. You're not fooling anyone, buddy. And neither is the Ninja 650. The engine sucks. The suspension is incredibly boilerplate. It begs for mercy anytime you actually attempt to do any real sport bike stuff with it. It's a sport bike for people who have never ridden one and don't know how to use the internet. Maybe the Ninja 650 made a bit more sense 10 or 20 years ago before people actually looked things up online, as an antithesis to the inline 4 middleweight super sports. They'd say, hey, this bike looks sporty, but it's docile and usable around town. But now, there's so many motorcycles that accomplish that task with way more pizzazz. You got the R7, the GSX-8R, the Hornet 750, it's a naked bike, but even that is going to be leaps and bounds more sporty than a Ninja 650. Please, I've ridden one several times. I walk away feeling nothing at all. The Ninja 650 is just a sad bike. Now look, I love Yamaha. They're one of my favorite manufacturers. Just look at the comments and you'd think that I'm on Yamaha's payroll just because I openly acknowledge their prowess. But even as a Yamaha stan, I gotta call them like I see them. The Yamaha Bolt sucks. It just blows. And it shows that even Yamaha can make a dud. The Bolt was supposed to be Yamaha's answer to the Sportster, a stripped-down, minimalist retro cruiser. But what they delivered was a gay, nerd-coded Sportster ripoff that is somehow less fun and less characterful. The Bolt debuted in 2013 with a 942cc V-twin borrowed from the V-Star 950. It makes around 47 horsepower and weighs 540 pounds, which sucks. It's practically like an Iron 883. If you're gonna steal Sportster customers, why didn't you make it better? Styling is lame. It looks like a Chinese AI rendering of a cruiser. It's got like baby's first motorbike from Fisher-Price vibes. It looks like someone left a Sportster in the sun too long and it got melted and warped. Oh yeah, and there's too much plastic. The steering is so lazy, it feels like you're trying to steer a Civic with a canoe paddle. Plus, there's that notorious steering head death wobble that gives a Janus a real run for its money. The tragedy is it just doesn't have any charm. A Sportster sucks, but that's because it's technology from the 80s, which brings character and heritage and a unique flavor. It's authentic. As much as it pains me to say it, it's true about the Sportster. I walk away from one thinking, yeah, okay, I kind of get it. If you want a fun, modern, old-school bike with actual performance, there's the Rebel 1100, or even a Triumph Bonneville could fit the bill. Hell, I'd take a Royal Enfield over a Yamaha Bolt, and don't even get me started on the Yamaha Bolt Scrambler thing that they made. It was like the SCR 950 or something. That thing is an atrocity against God and all of its creations in the motorcycling universe. Okay, here's a bonus entry because I don't even know how many devout Suzuki GS500 fans there are out there, but let me preface this a little bit. I get it. It's simple. It was cheap. It was reliable, but it is very boring. It's so boring when I rode one, I almost died from boredom because I fell asleep while riding it. It debuted in 1980, but then it was quietly killed around 2009. It used a 487cc parallel twin with about 45 horsepower, carburetors, and the most milquetoast design of maybe any motorcycle ever made before. It's not particularly sporty or fast or interesting. It's like Suzuki engineered the median motorcycle experience and sold it for 20 years. Sure, it's reliable, but so is a toaster. Who cares? Come on, you guys talking about reliability all the time. It's motorcycling. It's supposed to break down and make you feel something every once in a while. I'm going to add one more entry on here. I will say it, and look, I restrained myself a lot in the review because I was trying to be a consummate professional. I would never ride the Janus Halcyon 250 ever again. That bike was garbage. Logan agrees too. Hate to throw him in here under the bus, but he said it too. He wrote it. He's like, I never want to ride that piece of shit ever again. Sorry, somebody's got to say it, okay? Somebody's got to call it like it is. All right, boys, there you have it. 5 bikes you couldn't pay me to ride. Boring, uninterested, uninspired, Chinese crap. We've seen it all on the list today. I'd rather ride a 2-stroke GP bike from the 80s that may seize at 120 miles per hour than ride one of these soulless beige bikes on today's video ever again. Let me know down below if you've ever had a similar feeling about the motorcycles I mentioned today, or maybe there's something I didn't mention. If you think I'm wrong, I'm sure you already let me know in the comments down below, but thanks so much for watching all the way to the end of this one, and I will catch you on the next one. Fact: the fear of cooking is called Meijiro. Oh, that's a tough one. Magirocophobia? I feel like Trump saying acetaminophen. How do you pronounce it? Magirocophobia. Magirocophobia. Okay. Fact. The fear of cooking is called magirocophobia. Goodbye.